For our next topic, we're going to go over a case against Big Pharma for their role in the opioid crisis. This is a real problem here in the US. On average, about 130 Americans die every day from opioid overdose, and this is mostly perpetuated by capitalism. That's right. In fact, here, I'll prove it. When the pharmaceutical companies found out how addictive these drugs were, they didn't care how dangerous they were to the public. They hired more sales teams, and in this case had a scheme going where they bribed the doctors themselves. John Kapoor was the founder and executive of Incise Therapeutics. He has recently been sentenced to 5.5 years in prison for his role in this scheme. Him and 4 other executives were found guilty of bribing doctors to prescribe the potent opioid painkiller Subsys, which the company manufactured, including to people who didn't need it. Then, as if that wasn't bad enough, they also lied to insurance companies to make sure it was covered. Mind you, this opioid was meant for cancer patients and cost about $19,000 a month. There are some serious moral questions here regarding healthcare and how we treat people in this country if we're allowing drug companies to charge cancer patients $19,000 a month for a drug they may need. The Incise sales chief was also sentenced to jail for just a little over a year. According to an article from NPR, this sales executive hired a stripper to assist in persuading doctors to boost prescriptions. The woman was eventually promoted to lead a third of the sales force in the company. Quote, "I didn't think of who we were at Incise and how unethical what we were doing was," he told a judge on Thursday, according to Bloomberg. "The only thing I could think was how could I keep up with the fast and furious pace necessary to get ahead." Let me repeat that. The only thing I could think was how could I keep up with the fast and furious pace necessary to get ahead. Not the tens of thousands of Americans affected by this, not the cancer patients, some of which actually need this drug. No, it's about the money and getting ahead. I cannot think of a more clear-cut story to illustrate why we need to get private corporations out of healthcare, period. This was just one pharmaceutical company who got caught. There are many others, and let's not forget, the health insurance industry is not much different. They don't care about providing healthcare, they care about providing profits to their shareholders. When it comes to our lives and healthcare, there just isn't room for profit. I cannot see a moral justification why someone has to pay $19,000 a month for a medication. I cannot see a moral justification why someone has to choose between bankruptcy or life-saving care. I cannot see a moral justification why GoFundMe is the new health insurance plan and Uber the new ambulance, because even with insurance you may have to pay up to $500. There just isn't. But I digress. Although John Kapoor's 66-month prison term is extremely lenient, the prosecution originally wanted 15 years, and in my opinion, he and his co-conspirators deserve worse for their contribution to the opioid crisis. It did set an important precedent. This was a landmark case where corporate executives were charged under RICO, which stands for the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, and served as a powerful message to other big pharma executives who have helped fuel the opioid crisis. Looking at you, Sackler family. The message is you can and will be prosecuted criminally for your greed. No longer will it just be government fines that can be chalked to the cost of doing business. Jail time is on the table, ladies and gentlemen. This is exactly why you cannot leave something like healthcare to private corporations. You are allowing them to play with people's lives and health for profits. We are the only major developed country who has not figured out a universal, single-payer healthcare system. With all the billions of dollars being lobbied in Washington, can't imagine why.